Hey guys, in this video I'm going to give you a workshop that I did recently called Let the Videos Do the Hustling For You. So this is for anyone who's got a side hustle and their main thing might be something else, but they've got a business on the side and they're trying to grow it with minimal effort but maximizing their content. So watch this workshop, giving it to you for free. We had a bunch of people come out to the workshop a few weeks ago, so hope you enjoy it. Hit subscribe if you do, leave a comment if you have any questions, and we'll definitely answer that for you. Enjoy. So my talk today is called Let Your Videos Do the Hustling. Pretty much the idea of this is that video is an automation tool. It's a time-saving tool, and when you're doing your side hustle, you need to be able to save time as much as possible and optimize what you're doing with your time. Using video is like a no-brainer because you want to be able to leverage yourself, leverage your time, and video is like the closest thing to duplicating yourself. So let's get into it. So I just want to talk about what's possible with video to give you guys like a scope. Before I head into this, can I just get an idea of what side hustles or what we've got in the room? Like, put your hand up if you have a side hustle. Just shout out what it is. Joe?
Coaching business.
Coaching business.
Makeup.
Makeup.
Skincare.
Skincare. Anyone else? Video. Yeah. Cool. Awesome. So there's a different range, and it probably got different levels of time that you can put into it as well. So this should help with all you guys where you're at. So first thing that's possible with video is marketing. So this is like the obvious one. Everyone knows I want to get a video so I can market myself. Something that comes into that is video is a tool to make sales because it shows instead of tells. So it's way better at selling than we are, because imagine this. I could show someone around my business and take them here, take them there, show them the experience I'm giving to my customers. They would have to follow me around for a week to get the kind of stuff that a video can show in 2 minutes. So think of it that way. It's a tool that sells what you do because it shows and doesn't just tell. But the other thing is that it condenses, like oftentimes I'll meet with a business person and doing a video for them, I'm condensing what they're telling me in like a 2-hour meeting into 2 minutes as well. So that kind of video, I'll get into the different types of videos, but that video is called a video business card, like Jez mentioned before. It's like the online business card where if someone says, what do? You can give them that and it shows them everything about you. The next thing is processes. So talked a bit about this, but it's the saving time part of video. The fact that if you make a video and that gives value, like even right now we're shooting this, if you film yourself and you make a video, you don't have to do that process again. It's duplicated it and it's set it up as an automation tool. And that saves you time, but it's also, it's customer service as well. So like, for example, we did a series of videos for a fashion designer who, for all of their clients, they have to spend, like I say, an hour meeting, and half of that was spent on educating them on the process of their bridal collection and what styles to choose and all that education stuff. She repeats every single client. So what we did was we made a video that takes them through a process even better than she can, because it's like visual. Otherwise she'd have to show them all the different styles and all the different options. So we create the video, and when the customers, when they like book a meeting with her, she sends them this like awesome video and it adds to the customer experience. So they're taken along that journey in a fun way, in a way that's like visual and engaging. And it makes them feel like, wow, this person's really got their stuff together. Like they've really gone above and beyond to bring me on that process. And then the last one is for processes is like referrals and like word of mouth. When people tell people about you, like it's really powerful because when someone trusts someone and they ask, for example, if someone said, oh, do you know a videographer? Do you know someone who knows how to make videos? And they said, oh yeah, I know Lucas, go check him out. It's even better if they said, I know Lucas, here's a video about what he does. And they instantly get to meet me, get to have a connection, and it's reducing the friction time from the question of their interest to learning all about me. So that's like it enhances referrals. Then the third thing, so this is like the 3 different ways that you can leverage video. The last one's relationships. So the other cool thing about video is just to switch your mindset, because we can probably get ideas and like think, oh, I know what I could do with video, but I just want to give you 3 categories. The relationship side is video is the closest thing to meeting you before they meet you. So you can actually kind of make a lot of friends. People can know how you look, how you talk. They can get a vibe for you when they've seen videos of you before. That kind of connection is really powerful in creating relationships, because everything from business comes from relationships. It comes from, do people know you, like you, and trust you? And if they just haven't seen you, they don't know what you're about, then they can't start that relationship with you. So think of it in those 3 categories. So, was anyone here last time for the? I think it's mostly new faces. So last time I chatted, it's good. Last time I chatted about a video strategy. So this video strategy is called the defense offense strategy, and it's a way to have a strategy when going into creating videos for your business, right? So most times when we think about doing a video or we want to put out content, we're thinking offense strategy. We're thinking, I want to put out content to get people's attention, right? So maybe on social media pretty much social media, you're putting out videos, you're putting out value, and you're attracting their attention. So these are people that aren't looking for you, and you want to catch them on their way. So they're not looking for you, but you're putting out videos to get their attention. Whereas defense is people are looking for you, and what do they find? They might go to your website. What kind of content or videos do you have there to show them what they want to know and bring them to a point where they want to buy or they want to join? So sometimes we do offense first, and it's not a good idea. You want to start with defense, because imagine bringing people into a system. You're bringing new customers, but there's a net that's broken, and you're missing all those catches. So start with the defense, get this set up well, and then I'll turn that on later. Get this set up well, because people are, like, even at a low level, if you're just starting out, they still are people that want to know more. There's already those people there, so you want to capture them well, then focus on offense. Then focus on videos where you can give value or content where you're attracting people that don't know about you, all that kind of thing. So that's the basics of the strategy. Now, in terms of a side hustle where you don't have time, you may be new to your business, not many people know about you, all these things. How do you do this video strategy with those limitations? That's what I want to talk about. Okay, so the main thing for defense content is you're setting up long-term assets. So a video business card or a video that is a defense video, if you create a funnel or a system with the videos, you set it up and you leave it for 2 to 3 years. That thing, once you got it set up, is working for you and you're not doing any more work, right? So think of it like that. If I set up a video, if I set up a defense strategy, I can spend my time on it now, and that can be a project for the first few weeks, and then it's done, and now I can focus on other stuff. That's what I did as well when I started my business. I was like, I'm going to set up my I'm going to set up my defense first. Once I've filmed my video business card, once I've got my testimonials and my other work and stuff on my website, then I'm going to move on. And I haven't thought about that stuff for a while, because it stays for you. So think of those as long-term assets. Then with offense, like you could try to do offense in a way that really takes up your time, and that's not going to work for us. But we want to find ways to do it with high volume but low effort, right? So I'm going to give you some tips on how to do that. That's basically what I'm going to focus on for the rest of the workshop. And hopefully by the end of it, you guys can go away and be like, all right, I know how to minimize my time and my effort, but maximize my content. Because if you put out content, if you put out opportunities for people to meet you, opportunities for people to like and trust you, all of a sudden you've got this system flowing on the side, and it's literally, that's the side hustle working. That's why it's like, let the videos do the hustling. If you got videos reaching people, videos selling people, you're not doing any of that work. And you get to focus on the thing that you love, or if your career is on like your main thing, you get to focus on that and leave this running. Cool? All right. So long-term assets, I mentioned the video business card. You could have stuff like testimonial videos of clients you've worked with that have loved your working with you and stuff like that. Process videos like the fashion designer I mentioned. Customer service videos, frequently asked questions, and opt-in resources. So I'll just let you write that down. Opt-in resources is amazing as well because you can have something on your website that's giving people so much value, and you're collecting an email list while you're doing nothing. You just set it up and it's going to work for you. Okay. So now this is for the offense content. The first tip is to batch create. All right? So the best strategy for putting out regular content is that we're all in different fields, right? But we're all experts in our fields. We all have a level of knowledge or something to give. Otherwise, you wouldn't be in business. You wouldn't be offering a service if you didn't have that knowledge. So let's leverage that, what you already have, and create content around it. So that's why I wrote educational content. There's 3 types of content that will give people value in any like platform. There's entertainment, inspiration, and education. Okay? So entertainment is a lot harder. You have to be talented, or you have to have time to go and make something that's entertaining. Inspiration, if you're an inspirational person, awesome. You can use it, but that's also a lot harder as well because you got to make sure you're building inspiration. Whereas education is something where we can all start at and something that we can all begin creating content now, and there's no waiting time. Does that make sense? So the next thing is share your knowledge. This tip is about, you don't have to be the expert of experts on your topic. You don't have to be, who knows Gary Vaynerchuk? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, cool. So Gary V has been saying recently that you don't have to be the thought leader of the conversation that you're contributing to, but you just have to be a thought contributor. Add your perspective and be confident in it. It's not about, because even for me, starting out my business, I started at 19, 20, and I'm like, who's gonna listen to me? I'm young, just starting. I haven't seen any success with my videos growing businesses yet. So what can I really add? But I started putting out content with the mindset that I'm just contributing what I do have. Because there's gonna be people that can learn from you. You're ahead of some people, and you're also giving off the thing that's saying, I'm not perfect, I'm not telling you all to do what I'm saying, but this is what I've seen, or this is what I know, and giving it as value. Is that cool? So when I say batch create, the idea is to film multiple videos in one sitting where you're giving educational tips, just straight you to the camera, simple setup. And if you film multiple videos in one day, you can drip feed them over weeks, okay? So the ideal is to shoot 4 at a time, but for side hustlers, I'd say 12 at a time. The reason why 4 is ideal is because you don't want to batch create too much, because if you create 100 videos on one day, it's possible it'll be a lot of work for that day, but your audience is going to feel the disconnect that you've over-automated. You're not relevant to the time. So four videos at a time allows you to at least be monthly relevant to your market, to your audience, right? When they're leaving comments saying, oh, we want to know about this, but you're like, no, I've already batch created for a year in advance, and you're not responding to what they care about. Okay? So, yes, Jez,
Sorry.
what's the question?
When creating a video, what's the maximum that you feel is much more ideal for the audience to receive? So is it 1 minute, 3 minutes, 5
In
minutes?
terms of the length of the video?
Yeah.
I'd say, I'm going to talk about that more later, about repurposing for the platform, but it all depends on the platform that your audience is receiving it on. Because they're used to different types of content on different types of platforms, and they go to that platform for a specific type of content. But the main gist is I'm starting with a YouTube type or a Facebook video where we're looking at like 5 minutes of content, okay? So they want a solid amount of education because they're educational videos, so they don't want it to be 1 minute because they're like, oh, what can I learn in 1 minute, right? When it's solid, it's like 5 minutes, they think you've got something to say, right? It's important because some people are like, oh, you want to make short videos.
Yes.
That's a myth. It's based on context of the platform and context of what they're hoping to receive from you. But what I would recommend is 12 at a time. This is obviously like more like 3 months of content. You're still staying kind of relevant, but you are going to save so much more time by shooting it all in one day and then making a quick edit later on. If you don't know how to edit, you can still start this without any editing, like just start and stop kind of video, as long as the content is valuable, okay? The thing about social media is that like quality of production versus quality of the content, it's way towards quality of content. Quality of production does help and it's part of your branding. Like if you want to come across super professional, you have to make your quality of production look good. But when we're starting out, when we're side hustling, don't worry too much about production quality. Worry about content. Because think about it, if you jump on a story, even the big guys do it, like Gary Vee and other people, the quality of a selfie on like jumping on a story or jumping on live, like it doesn't look great, but it's about what kind of value you're giving to them in that time. Okay, so that leads me to give real value. So for this part, it's like give your best secrets. Give only the best stuff. Don't think that the audience is going to be like happy with you giving regurgitated stuff that everyone knows or most people know. Try your best to like make it juicy. Try and make it like if you be really honest and really vulnerable and open up, that's where you're going to find real value. Okay, so in terms of on a day, right? So you're going to shoot 12 videos in one day. Maybe blot out a Saturday if you got a Saturday off, and you're going to shoot all in that day. Right? It shouldn't take too long. You might spend probably 15-20 minutes on each video. If you can do it all in one go, 5 minutes on each video isn't that long. But what you want to do is spend like maybe a day before your shoot day writing out outlines for each video, okay? So now I want to make it super simple because each video doesn't have to take that long to outline. It needs to be so quick. It needs to be like, all right, here's a topic, here's the value that my audience needs, and I can talk on this, and this. So I'll get into that a little bit more later to help you workshop that so you know what to do, okay? But you'll write some outlines. Then when you shoot, bring a bunch of outfits. Like I usually have, when I'm shooting, I usually have like 7 different t-shirts or maybe a jacket or 2 jackets, and I'm just switching out my shirts because you want to make them feel like you're not batch shooting. You don't want them to feel like you've batch shooted because that means that you don't have time. It means you don't value them to give them relevant content. So this isn't lying. It's just each video, you want to kind of trick them a little. But people value that. So change outfits, and then the last one is just set up a nice shot. Okay? So I'll go deeper into some of this stuff. I've got a video on how to speak to camera, which I'm going to play for you now. And in this video, I'm going to give you 3 tips. And this is more towards how you should speak and what you should speak about. And then later, I'm going to finish off my workshop with one more video, which is how to speak to camera part 2, and it's more on like how to set up a nice shot and how to frame yourself and stuff like that. So, yeah, it's connected. So we'll just watch that. Hey guys, today I want to give you some tips on how to speak in front of a camera. So one of the most valuable skills to have in this day and age is knowing how to speak to a camera, because whether you're a small business owner or you're building an audience online or you're a filmmaker, entrepreneur, no matter what you do, it's so important to know how to get in front of a camera and communicate well. Because to be able to build an audience, you need to be able to connect well and give value to people. So jumping in front of a camera can be pretty scary. Most people freak out. I even have times where I'm struggling to speak well in front of the camera. So I thought it might be helpful to give you guys some tips I've learned that will help you speak well and help the videos you make to be more effective. If you can nail this skill and get over the fear of speaking in front of camera, there's so much more opportunity for you to grow your reach, grow your business, and build an engaged following. It's almost a necessity, and it's a really good idea for anyone to learn. So the first tip is passion. So you might think, oh, I can't speak in front of camera because it's not my personality. I'm kind of boring and monotone, and I won't be entertaining. I won't be engaging for anyone to listen to. Or you might think you have to put on a face to be exciting and engaging. But the best way to be engaging and not make people bored out of their brains is to just talk about something that you're passionate about. It pretty much applies to any video you make. You shouldn't really be making a video and speaking to camera about something that you're not passionate about, unless you're like a presenter or an actor. But if you're an entrepreneur or if you're building an audience, you need to find the passion in what you're saying. Don't think about how you look. Don't worry about being engaging. Just talk about the thing that you're passionate about and share honestly. So if you're sharing the things that you already know, already learned, maybe you're giving tips, or maybe you're giving an announcement or something like that. If you share on the things that you know so well already and that you have a passion for, it's going to come across engaging. It might not look like other people. It might not be as loud or colorful as other people, but you can be honest and be yourself if you have passion behind it. One of the things that I worried about was I think I'm super monotone and like I don't like being over the top when I'm sharing something. So when I started sitting in front of camera, I thought it was going to be super boring. But I realized that when the subject matter is something that I actually care about, I kind of light up a bit. I can be more interesting when it's coming from a genuine place, what I'm saying. So focus less on the external, how do I be more engaging, how do I talk better, and just focus on speaking from the heart, something that you care about. So tip number 2 is don't be robotic. So sometimes you can come across really robotic and stale if you're planning out everything you're going to say before you say it. So anytime you get up to speak, even if it's on a stage, it's better to have just a few points and not written out word for word what you're going to say. Because when you go to say it, it can come across ingenuine. So just have points that you can talk about. And when it comes to the point, it reminds you, and you just share spontaneously about that topic. Tip number 3 is don't stop talking. Sometimes you can get into a rut when you're talking to the camera and you're worrying too much about what you're saying and if the words sound right. So you keep stopping yourself and it can get really hard to just finish a video. And sometimes you can be filming for ages and feel like you just suck at talking. But what really helps is if you challenge yourself to just not stop talking. That don't be a perfectionist, that anything you say, the little quirks and the stumbles is fine. Like, people know you're a human, and it actually makes it more realistic and relatable if you just let your quirks come out and just share how you normally would. It doesn't have to be super, super perfect. You start to get into a flow when you actually just let yourself talk and don't worry too much about how you're saying the words and all that stuff. I really struggle with this sometimes because I can edit in my head and I can see when I'm editing the video, I know that I'm going to cut this out. So I have to teach myself to not think as an editor while I'm filming, but just talk and let it flow. You can get into a rut when you're talking to a camera. You remember that you feel like you're saying something, you can get to a point where you say something like, oh, that doesn't sound good, and you keep on, So essentially what I'm trying to say is don't be a perfectionist and just whatever you say, and just so essentially what I'm trying to say is I'm doing it now. So essentially what I'm trying to say is you don't have to be a perfectionist. It doesn't have to come out perfect, and just tell yourself not to stop talking. You don't want to stop and start all the time. You just want to go through it from beginning to end. If you feel like you've missed a point or you haven't explained it fully how you wanted to, you can just do another take or you can add to it. That's the beauty of making videos. You can edit in certain points. So tip number 4 is be yourself. I kind of touched on this already, but it's really important to not try and be someone else and try and be more exciting than you are or be more funny than you are. Like, it's better to just speak how you usually speak. Speak to the camera like it's your friend, like it's a person, and just don't worry about what people are going to think. That way it'll come across more genuine and it won't feel weird. So tip number 5 is practice. You'll find that when you start out, you might be stumbling, you might find it awkward or scary to talk in front of a camera, but the more you do it, the easier it gets. Stick at it and make sure you train yourself to keep talking. One of the best ways to train yourself is to jump on Facebook Live, because when it's going on Facebook Live, you can't edit it, you can't take it down, people are watching you, it's whatever's happening is happening. So it helps you, it trains you not to care about being a perfectionist, care about what people think, and it helps you to learn how to be yourself when speaking in front of a camera. So those are a few tips that I've learned when it comes to speaking in front of a camera. So I hope that helps you and empowers you to go shoot videos. One of the main things I do when I'm helping clients film videos is I'll kind of direct them and make sure they stay spontaneous and real, so that they don't come across robotic or ingenuine. So being on both sides of the camera, it helps to know what's working and what's not. I hope that helps you. Subscribe for more videos, hit that notification bell so you know when the next one gets posted. I'm posting a new video every week, so stay tuned.
Okay, cool. I hope that helps you. I think it's important to know, like, sometimes when you're shooting a video, you can edit. If you can edit, you can edit yourself out, but also training yourself, like with Facebook Live, to do it all in one go, and not having to get everything right. That's where people take too much time, because we want to save time. So don't worry about stumbling and your quirks, because that makes you like relatable, makes you look real. All right. So when I came up with that video, that's one of my educational videos. It came to me really quick because I was like, what do I know about speaking in front of camera? And I jotted down 5 points. Boom. That's how quick it should be to write a video. 5 points. I didn't script it. I just wrote it down. So a good strategy is 3 points or 5 points, or just a topic that you can talk about for 5 minutes. Cool? So now we're going to do a workshop moment. I want you to choose a partner real quick and talk to them about what 4 topics you could make videos on. Okay? And before we do that, I want you to think in terms of who your audience is, what do they care about, and what kind of value you can give to them. Okay? So for me, my audience is business owners, and how can I teach them how to use video to grow their business? So I'm like, all right, this is something that can help them. So think in terms of what does your audience need and what would they find valuable. All right, let's go spend 2 minutes, 5 minutes maybe, and just talk to each other. All right, guys, finishing up. So, sorry to cut it off. I hope you guys have jotted down some ideas for topics you can talk about. And that was an exercise to show you how quick it should be. Put your hand up if you got some topics down. Yeah, that's fine. Write them down later. Don't forget them. But that it just took 5 minutes, 2 to 5 minutes, and you've got some video content ready to go. All right, so now I want to talk about repurposing content. Okay, so now you've batch created and you've got a bunch of content there, but now you can take it to the next step, leverage even more, and repurpose it for different platforms. And this works really well, not just to save time, like you're repurposing. So say you have a 5-minute video, you can chop up 30 seconds of gold from that and put it on a different platform. Stuff like that. So that helps you reach more people, but it's also, you want to be relevant to the platform anyway. If you chuck a YouTube video 5 minutes onto Instagram, first of all, it won't let you upload. Second of all, people won't watch it anyway. It's not designed for that. So looking at the way people watch videos on that platform and repurposing it.
So I'm going to break it down so it's easy for you guys, so you can go away and be like, all right, that's what I do for Instagram, that's what I do for Facebook and LinkedIn and whatnot. All right, YouTube. This will be the majority of what I talk about, and then the repurposing will be quicker, okay? So YouTube, you want to start with a hook. So this could be 5-10 seconds of the video. And then you want to have, like, if you can, a logo or a branding transition. So I start with my best moment from the video so they're hooked. Then I show them my branding and what the purpose is of my channel, okay? So in my videos, I've got changing the world with film and business, right? So straight away you know if you're into film or if you're a business person, this channel will give you tips on how to change the world, how to build your influence and stuff like that. So because I've hooked them, they're waiting for the content, and you've got them for like a little while before you need to get straight into the content, okay? You don't want to make this time too long, right? So you've got the logo branding, introing what your channel's about so they know what kind of value. Then you can introduce, oh, that's the intro of the channel. Then you can ask them to subscribe, okay? I used to think like ask them to subscribe at the end, but the call to action, sometimes they don't reach the end. So you might as well ask them at the start that they're thinking about it as the content's going. Most people subscribe halfway through a video, in my opinion. I usually subscribe halfway through a video because I'm like, oh, this is really good. So ask them to subscribe, then get straight into the content, okay? So all this, that might be 5 seconds, another 5 seconds, another 5 seconds, and then you're in, okay? So in terms of when you're filming, you'll just film this part. You'll film an intro and then 3 tips, okay? So your intro, maybe for me, I was talking about how to speak in front of camera. I just want to set the stage a bit. Just want to quickly say why speaking in front of camera is important, why you should learn it, then I'll teach them the tips. So when you're introing, make sure you're showing them like the value of it, why should they care, and then jump into the content, okay? Make sure your tips are like meaty. Make sure they've actually got weight to them. Make sure it's something that is like your best kept secrets and that you're giving away gold, okay? Then for YouTube, you want to make a YouTube ending. So that's usually something like this. If you like that content, please leave a comment down below and subscribe for more content. I'll see you next week. Something like that, okay? So you're asking them for 2 call to actions: comment, subscribe, and then you're also mentioning that you're going to be posting every week. See you next week. That way they know how consistent it'll be. If you're posting once every like random time, you're going to lose your audience because they can't expect more content from you, okay? So that's YouTube. Now the other ones will be quicker because we've already got this structure. This is kind of the base of it all, and then we'll repurpose this, okay? So Facebook, same structure, except change your call to action from subscribe to comment, share, and like the Facebook page, okay? You can also repurpose that YouTube video into shorter snippets for Facebook. So Facebook's good to have those shorter snippets. You wouldn't cut, generally for YouTube, you wouldn't cut like even shorter snippets for YouTube, but for Facebook, you see those like portrait mode or square ratio videos that they're usually 1 minute, 30 seconds to a minute. So you can cut those little shorter videos and change the aspect ratio, and all of a sudden it gives a different level of value because you're giving them a nugget by itself. It's quick, something they can digest and then move on, okay? So also if you can probably do this on an app. Just create a square ratio, put the title, an engaging title at the top. You know how you have captions on top and bottom of a video? And if you can, there's probably an app as well, I don't know, subtitles at the bottom of a square ratio video. Cool? Then you go to Instagram and you reuse those short snippets that you just made, exact same thing. You can also create portrait mode of highlights of the video for your story or IG or your IGTV. So portrait mode, again, it changes it, but it's in story, so people will jump on story for a quicker, shorter piece of content. And also on the story, you can add your own text on top, which makes it more engaging and relevant, because people always do that. It's like the Instagram thing. And then one more thing that people don't usually do is you can save the full videos to your highlights. And people usually go through the highlights when they want longer content, or they want to click through and see more of your content. So does everyone know what the highlights are on Instagram? So on your main page, there's like these little circles under your logo. These circles that have like highlights. I don't know how to explain it, but they're like story highlights. So you got your story that stays there for 24 hours, but you can have highlights that stay there all the time. So stories that stay there all the time. In that place, you can leave like, imagine having your Instagram page and then having one of your highlights as, for me, how to use video to grow your business, or behind the scenes, stuff like that. Okay, so that's Instagram. Then for LinkedIn, the same format, except change the call to action to share this video or connect. Because you don't want to get to the end of the video. What I've been doing recently is actually, I haven't fully got around to the LinkedIn thing. I've just been posting my YouTube videos straight on LinkedIn. And I feel like, oh, people are going to watch it to the end and see, subscribe to my YouTube channel and be like, why is this on LinkedIn, right? So it's important to, when you're filming, just film 3 different endings: Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah. And then also LinkedIn's good for square ratio videos as well. There's lots of those on there. So title on the bottom, subtitles on the title at the top, subtitles on the bottom. Okay. Now this is a bonus point. For repurposing content, podcasts are so smart. Okay? Let me paint this picture for you. Imagine you could get a whole bunch, like an hour's worth of content, and you don't create it yourself. You don't have to come up with it yourself. If you start a podcast where literally it could be as simple as sitting down with someone that you know and asking them questions, interviewing them, they're giving you value of their story, of the things they've learned, giving value to your audience, and you're filming long form content, okay? So long form content is so good for repurposing. Again, Gary Vee does it with he's got heaps of different long form content. He's got a podcast. He's got a podcast where you can ask him questions. He's got a deep dive discussion where he meets with business people and he films the whole thing. Sometimes it's 2 hours long. People can watch that in long form. Some people like to watch the whole thing, but you got snippets all throughout that you can cut. So imagine this, you filmed one podcast, 1 week, one Saturday you had someone over, interviewed them. Then for the next 5-6 weeks, you just go, I'm gonna grab that snippet and put it on Facebook, and grab that snippet, put it on Instagram, okay? So then the main question, the thing that kind of stopped me or stops people from like, can I do a podcast? Is like, do I have to be a good interviewer? Do I have to learn skills there? Literally, I think it's the simplest thing. You're just asking them questions that you don't know about them and letting them share, okay? You could even do this in a simpler form. Have a Zoom call with someone and put their face, your face, and you record the screen and you pop that up on Facebook or whatever. You can even go live with that. But it's just really smart content. I'm gonna start doing a podcast really soon. I'm gonna bring business people that I know over, set up 2 mics, and there's heaps of content there, okay? Yep, so I just went through all that. So from podcasts, you can repurpose snippets of it, but you can also transpose it to written content, right? You can grab quotes from the person you interviewed. They can be used as status updates or tweets. You can write articles based on their content, and you can put it on LinkedIn or send out newsletters. And the best part is you don't have to come up with it yourself. All right, so we'll jump past this workshop because we're running out of time, but just want you to write down or think about 3 people you know that you could get to interview right now. 3 people that it's not like, oh, they're too hard to reach. Just 3 people that might be friends, they might have a bit more influence than you, and then ask them. Because like I just asked someone who's like an international speaker who came to our church to share on business, and I said, I'm doing a podcast, would you be keen? He's like, yeah, because when they're as someone who's got influence, they want to be on more podcasts, even if they're small, because it's good PR for them. It's like it's like really easy. If you're hosting the party, you can have people over and they're going to come, okay? One quick thing as well because we're side hustling, choose a platform to start with to focus on, okay? That might cut down your repurposing time, but when you get more time later on, you can be like, I can repurpose this, and you got more content. Okay, this is a quick tip. Instagram is peaking right now. LinkedIn is the one to watch. So much organic reach for video. If you get on that now, you might ride a wave. And then TikTok, if you're brave, it's a new platform. It's like Vine, and that's getting a lot of reach. If you post something, TikTok,
It's like what?
Vine.
Oh, okay.
Do you remember Vine?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like funny videos. It's very young audience, but jump on it now and it's gonna evolve just like anything else did, like Instagram, Facebook. But that's if you're brave, okay? And then this one, I'll send this video to you so we can save time. But this is really good in terms of how to set up your shot and how to make it look pretty professional, just with what you have. Hey business owners, today I want to give you 3 more tips on how to speak in front of camera. Hey guys, so if you're new to the channel, we make videos on how to grow your business using the power of video, and we also make filmmaking tutorials for filmmakers to make better short films. But today we're talking about how to speak well in front of camera. Like I said in the first video, the skill and ability to speak well in front of camera is becoming more and more valuable for business owners in our day and age. So I want to help you guys speak well in front of camera so you can keep connecting to your audience, especially if you have a small business where you really need to connect on a personal level to your audience, to your market, and then you can stay front of mind and in their faces, in their feeds all the time. Tip number 1 today is super simple, but it's very important and lots of people stuff this up. When you're speaking to camera, oftentimes there's a flip screen right next to the lens, and it's very off-putting if you look at the flip screen while you're talking. So this is me looking at the flip screen while I'm talking, and it looks like I'm not really engaged or looking at you. It's kind of distracting. It's like, what am I looking at? So don't get tempted to look at yourself in the flip screen while you're filming. Look straight down the barrel of the lens. That way you can really just connect and the audience isn't left thinking, what's he looking at? And really make sure that you don't look back and forth, because that twitching will be even more distracting. So tip number 2 is don't yell. The reason why you shouldn't yell when you're talking to someone on camera is because when people are watching it, it's usually one person watching your video online, like on YouTube or Facebook, and you don't need to speak as though you're talking to an audience or a large group of people. You just need to speak like you're talking to one person on the other side of the lens. That way they're gonna feel way more connected to, because people don't wanna feel like they're being shouted at. It's like when your grandma picks up the phone and they're yelling to the other side because they think they can't hear them just because of the technology. Same thing with the camera. Don't feel like people aren't gonna hear you just because you're talking to a camera. So just speak as if there's one person sitting right in front of you. Act as though the camera is a person, and that way you will never find yourself yelling and doesn't feel awkward. So the 3rd and final tip is framing. A lot of the time I'll see a video where someone's speaking to the camera and it looks like this. Hey, how you going? What's up? And the person's talking and it's like they're all the way back here and it feels like they're so far away. The framing is so weird, like there's lots of space up here and there's too much space on that side and they're not centered. But even if you were centered, like this is very far away. I prefer to come up a bit closer, because when you're speaking on a phone, like you're already small, so you want to get your face so they can see and connect with your face, that it's pretty big on their screen, but you don't want to be too close where you're like awkwardly in their face, like up here. So usually I do a mid close-up, which is from the chest up, and leave a little bit of headroom so you're not like cutting off your head or touching the top, just like that. So hope that gave you some value, some tips, and you got stuff written down so you can take it home and think about how you can start making videos that will do the hustling for you. Hey guys, hope you enjoyed that workshop. If you got something out of it, definitely leave a comment below. Let us know what stood out to you. And if you watched the whole way through, let us know in the comment section below. We want to know who's watching the whole way through for these workshops. We'll be posting some more workshops soon coming up. We post a video every single week, so definitely hit subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss a thing, and I'll see you next week.
Full-time artist on tour, keep it real, no secret. I wanted to get home to my own Mona Lisa. What's the point of seeing Caesar if you lose touch with Jesus? There, I pledge my allegiance. My God really do.